So knight f6 here allows c takes d5. I wonder if there's some kind of delayed Grünfeld here, or accelerated Grünfeld maybe without g6. No, but my knight would have to be on c3 there. Because then he can take, and after e4 he can take on c3, but now he doesn't have that option, so my pawns are still going strong in the center. So I think I should just take this pawn here. I don't see why not. So if queen takes, I got knight c3 with tempo. He can't play bishop b4 obviously, so I think it makes sense to just grab the pawn d5, and if knight takes, then we go e4. We got the same thing. His knight doesn't have any natural squares. I think he has to go back. So yeah, I'm gonna go for that. Well, e6 as well, very quickly. So he wants to play some kind of gambit here. I'm sure it is a known gambit, but I haven't come across it before. He plays it very quickly. I think I don't really have a good way to decline the gambit here. Knight d3 maybe. No, he gets what he wants, he's taking back. I think I gotta accept this gambit, just take the pawn e6. He's gonna get some development here. e4 is not an option. I think I have to take the pawn. So I'm expecting bishop takes, yeah. And now I gotta make sure to get my king into safety. I can play knight c3 maybe. Seems like a useful move. But I gotta work on my king side as well. But knight c3, maybe bishop b4. And he threatens potentially knight e4 or knight d5 to add some pressure on c3. So if I go knight f3, that means I can respond bishop b4 with just bishop d2, keeping my d pawn defended in case I block it with bishop d2. So I think knight f3 makes a little bit more sense here. Just gonna make sure I got the chats disabled here. I think I should have. Yeah, it's off. So yeah, you won't be able to see the chats. The reason for that is I don't want any move suggestions of any kind, even if it was a mistake. Yeah, to avoid cheating altogether. So I can't really disable it on Twitch, that's why I'm streaming on YouTube. Lower the music a little bit. I usually turn on the chats afterwards if you want to ask me some questions or go through the game. Knight c6. Hopefully my fan isn't too bad here. I can hear it. So I think the safe option is to play e3 and just get castled quickly, because he has a significant lead in development and I have a pawn and a central pawn at the moment. So I don't want to be too ambitious and play moves like bishop g5 before I play e3, because the bishop might be a good defensive piece if he goes for bishop b4 ideas, and I think my bishop will be happy on d3 as well. I don't really need to go for my usual Catalan setup here, so yeah, I'm just gonna play e3 here. Knight here, I don't really need to worry about it. I can just play a3. It's not threatening much. Probably go bishop b4 or something like that. Yeah, I should be favored here. My opponent is gonna run 1900 and he's got, but I don't think he's higher in blitz than that. He's non-provisional rating, but around 1600 up, and kind of tells the story that I should be slightly favored, but let's not underestimate him. Just trying to understand his way of playing here. So we got bishop b4 check. I think bishop d2 makes perfect sense. Just asking a question, bishop, and I'm threatened to take and then play queen a4 as well, where he would have to come back with his knight to defend. Knight e4 is not a huge deal. I can take the bishop. And if he takes, I can just take my knight. Okay, he doesn't take it, so I'm tempted to just clarify the situation here with a3, because I do want him to take here. And yeah, I want to trade pieces, of course, because I'm not a pawn. And also, I think a3 is generally a useful move in keeping the knight away from the b4 square. Downside is that I'm weakening b3 square, and the knight might be able to jump in like this. But even a3 takes, I can take with the queen as well. But maybe I should just continue with bishop d3. Let's play ultra solid here. Bishop d3, he might take and bring the knight forward. Probably overthinking this, but a3 takes, knight takes, the knight does protect the b3 square somewhat, so I think that's a perfectly safe way to play. And I likely want to make this expansion at some point anyway. With b4, taking more space, maybe get a knight to c5. And just a general good move against the knight here on c6, I think, because it doesn't have that many prospects. Okay, so he does lose some tempo going back to the bishop. And now I think bishop d3 makes perfect sense. Because now the knight can't attack it on d3. And yeah, it's a nice diagonal to take. I want to grab it before he goes bishop f5. And I don't need to worry about bishop g4 here. I can just play h3, for example, if I need to, or just castle. So yeah, let's bring the bishop out to a good square here, the attacking square for the bishop. I'll be able to castle here. Then I'll link here. So a6, I guess he wants to push here, but I mean b4 is quite well defended anyway, and I can counter with b4 myself, so I'm just going to castle. I don't see why not. So maybe he goes for bishop g4 here. Or we can continue with b5. I think I'm going to turn on the move confirmation actually, because that's one of the ways I can lose. Moveless move confirmations in game behavior. There we go. So he does go for d5. How much of a threat is e4 here? Take, knight takes, and then what? Bishop comes in, but I get the a file here, and his pawn is going to become quite weak on a6. I can also throw in queen c2 with tempo on his knights. I think the queen is quite happy on c2 anyway, and I can follow up with rook c1 perhaps to increase the pressure on the c pawn here. Yeah, it's kind of awkward for him to defend the knights, and he doesn't have many squares to go to, so I think queen c2 looks like a good move, because it also helps to bolster the center. I can play e4 here, which should be my plan, just push e4, e5 comes with a good threat. There's d5 as well if he chooses to defend the knights, maybe goes queen d7 or something. But if he does that, his bishop loses even more squares to go to. Maybe I'll even throw in h3 at some point. But then he does have the option of sacking the bishop on h3. The queen takes, which I don't really want to allow. So here I can also play rook c1 with tempo, which seems like a good move. e4 it's got to be pretty strong here as well, because it threatens both d5 and e5. So I think this is a great moment to play it. It's a good opportunity here. So if I play rook c1, that kind of gives him an option to retreat the knights, and I don't have this double attack anymore. And the c7 pawn is defended anyway by the bishop, so I think it's a good time to play e4 here. You'll probably have to play something like, I don't know, maybe he even just loses a piece. Bishop g4, e5 is a bit unclear, because he can take here and then take on d4. But in that case I can just play d5 doesn't do much. I guess, yeah, e4 still. Bishop takes. I suppose I can take here, and I got a threat to take an h7 as well. Looks pretty good, so I think, yeah, let's just go for e4. I think it will be quite hard to deal with. He gets punished for placing his pieces like this. But they're kind of in the way. And you can see the power of these central pawns here, like covering all these squares. So yeah, I'm happy about this position. I don't think his gambits turned out very well. I can review the game real quick for those of you just turning in. So we played this gambit here. I don't know what it's called, but basically he gets two pieces out quickly, but he gives up a central pawn. So I just play like solid moves, and here he wastes some tempo, and I think maybe the bishop will be better on e7. So now we reach this position here, where I think white is doing really well. So yeah, I'm not really sure what to do here for black. Perhaps bishop g4 and try to take this knight and then take on g4. So let's calculate the pawn. Bishop g4, e5. The bishop takes. So first of all, if I take back, he can. These pieces are still forked, so I can play. I can take back and I let him take here and then just move my queen back. Let's say queen d1. No, I can't. Right, so he just plays g6, just giving up the piece like that. Okay. So now is the question if I want to play e5 or g5. E5 feels right because if he sacrifices I can take back and he can't continue taking. My bishop is still defended. If I play d5, however, he can sack the bishop or the knight and get 2 pawns for his piece at least. Yeah, but this pretty much forces him to sacrifice because I can take here with tempo. But yeah, he's gonna lose the piece regardless. So I might as well hold on to one of my pawns for it. Be a little bit materialistic, but I don't really see why not. You can't move his knight to get tempo on my queen. Bishop b3 stuff doesn't really work. Well, he can't even play it. Bishop g4, I'll just take. So yeah, he's gonna have to take. Let's say he takes with knights. Pawn takes, bishop takes. Yeah, there's not much there to worry about, so I can just play bishop e4 or something. Trade even more. So yeah, let's go with d5, d1. Last look, so I don't blunder anything here. Bishop takes, knight takes. No, I don't really see it. Let's go. So he's getting back 2 pawns for the piece, but he's already down a pawn, and I can continue to follow this up by threatening the knights. Let's say bishop e4 after this. So knight takes, pawn takes, bishop takes, for instance. Yeah, okay. Take this. There's nothing else, and then it's bishop e4 or even knight c3. But I think I'm just going to keep it simple here. The bishop is not as powerful on this diagonal anymore that he played g6, unless I want to play something like this. And his bishop is actually quite well placed on d5. I can play knight c3 as well, but maybe he can take and create something on the queen side, like queen h3 is going to threaten mate on h2. So I have to play something like bishop f4, and it's not really something I need to allow, so it's better to play safe here, I think, just bishop e4. Even though he's going to get a tempo on my queen probably. Bishop takes, queen takes, rook e8. And yeah, this bishop is still very much defended, so it should be okay. So let's go for that trade. I can throw in bishop h6. No, I can't, because rook e8 covered the square. So yeah, let's just go bishop here, make some more trades. It doesn't have knight. Yeah, the knight can't go anywhere. So that looks good. So this is the LoneWolf League, round 2. I lost the first round, unfortunately. I had a good tournament the last season. I finished, I think, tied for 4th place out of 300 something players. But yeah, I had a rough start this season. Played some good players. but just 2 rounds in now. Still plenty of games to play. I'm also playing in the team league now, which is quite a lot, but it's good practice for sure. Especially when there's not much over the board chess going on. Hopefully we'll be back to that soon. So a good practice. I'm considering getting a DGT board as well, a digital board. So I really miss playing with the real chess pieces. The tactile feedback you get, and apparently it works really well with Lichess as well. They are a bit expensive, of course, and it can be hard to get by because most of them are out of stock. But I'll see what I can get. Be nice to get used to playing on longer time controls and with real pieces as well. So back to this game. I think black doesn't have a lot of good options but to trade the bishops here on e4 and play perhaps rook e8, get some on my queen, and then the question is where should I put my queen. I need to find a safe but active square. Perhaps I'll go queen h4 and go for some kind of king side attack here. So he plays that rook to e8. So now we got bishop h6 tricks coming up. But let's say queen h4. I can play that my move confirmation. Yeah, I'm threatening bishop h6, knight g5 as well. Tempting him to play f6 or something where the queen will defend. Yeah, I think the queen is quite well placed on h4. Even if he goes bishop e7 or something, I can just move the queen back somewhere, or play bishop g5. And this bishop is well defended, like I said. You can come down with the rook here, but knight g5 looks pretty strong. So let's go with this. Got one more game coming up this weekend, the team league. Playing on board 1 there. Had a very long last game against MVL, as some of you know. We did some post-game analysis afterwards as well. That was good. F5. It's a good move because he protects against both knight g5 and bishop h6. I can still play bishop h6 actually. It might be a bit annoying for his rook, like say rook f7 and then knight g5. His rook might come to e7. But then my pieces are kind of on top of each other as well. I feel like it's a little bit too early for these kind of moves, unless I'm getting something right away. I don't really see a follow-up plan after that. I can bring my... Yeah, I want to bring my bishop back, but then my knight is now blocking on g5, so I think it's better just to bring another piece into the game. Yeah, this is going to be a long-term weakness rather than a short-term one. I also have a nice diagonal now on c3. But then how is my knight getting into the game? I also have to worry about e4. But I still have 3 pieces on b4 square, so should be okay for a while. I want to improve this piece rather than this piece, but c3 is just such a promising square. At the same time, the knight is better on c3 for sure. If I put the knight on d2, it's not really clear where the knight is going after that. Other than it's nice to defend this knight if he goes in for knight e5 or something, which bishop c3 also protects against somewhat. But knight c3 helps to connect my rooks as well. So the question is if he can play b4. Now I can just take, and whatever he takes backwards, I can just grab a pawn on a6, I think. So yeah, knight c3 looks very natural here. It's getting another piece out. There's no immediate threats, so he plays f4. My knight can come in and I don't see my queen getting trapped or anything like that. So I should be fairly safe here. The knight should be able to move around here, and then I can put my bishop on c3 if need be, or I can attack from h6 or g5 maybe. Even putting the bishop on e3 should be fine. So yeah, let's go with knight c3. I'm also covering the e4 square if he wants to go for rook e4 stuff, trying to trap my queen. Or get some kind of perpetual. And the rook comes in here as well. So it can't be a bad move. Knight c3. And this way, if he goes for bishop e7, I can counter it with bishop g5 as well. I'll be giving up potentially a very strong piece, but at the same time, without this dark square bishop, these dark squares are quite weak here. Really weak, actually. So, and I'm still up material, so always happy to trade. I shouldn't get too greedy here. Black still has fairly active pieces. My rook here is not really playing just yet, so I shouldn't go all out. So try to play too positionally. So yeah, okay, f4 is one of the moves I was looking at. It's kind of tempting now to play knight e5. It's the first move I would look at, because it does cover bishop e7 as well. I can just take it and check, and it's threatening knight f6, winning the exchange, and it's also threatening to just take the pawn here, probably with the bishop. This is not really a true fork. I can just take it with checks. So yeah, knight e5 looks quite strong here. I can follow up with bishop c3 at some point as well. Let's see if he has any real threats here. First thing is look for discoveries with this bishop. So there's bishop takes a3. Not doing much. I can just ignore it and play knight f6 anyway. He just blocked his pawn, so he can't play bishop takes h2, sorry. I don't really see much he can do here. Can I attack my queen somehow? g5 won't work. Rook f5 or something. No, I can still just play knight f6. Yeah, it looks too strong. Knight e5. I think I'm just gonna play it. I don't see what black can do really. Maybe rook e6 or something like that, but then I can take with tempo. King h8, bishop g3 looks very strong. So let's go for knight d5. It is kind of loose here, the knight, but I don't think he can really take advantage of it. And the queen lines up both of my pieces as well, so I had to be a little bit careful, keep an eye out for tactical opportunities. But here I think I should be winning really. I just need to play calmly, don't underestimate my opponent, and yeah, stay focused. It's so easy to mess something up still, especially when you're starting to get complacent. You think you've already won. That's usually when the counterattack happens. So I wonder what he can do here. He can't really go and exchange down. If he goes king g7, then maybe bishop c3. If he goes back, the queen can come in. It looks very dangerous. He'll have to block somehow. Then I can take, or I can apply even more pressure with rook d1. Okay, knight e5. So I guess he wants to take here with check. And his idea is probably if I take, then takes back with the bishop. And he's lined up these two pieces here. Plus he's defended the f6 square, but if I just play knight f6 right away, then he has to take, otherwise he drops his queen. Queen takes. Is there any danger of my queen getting trapped? Now bishop e7, I can just take his knight. If he takes here first, pawn takes. Then bishop e7. I can just come back with the queen. I don't really see any downside of playing knight f6 here. Rook takes, queen. Oops. Queen ends up on f6. Probably knight takes check. Pawn takes. Okay. So he can take my bishop, right? Is that his plan? Knight here. Rook takes. Queen takes. Knight takes check. Takes back. And then he takes my bishop. But his king is just wide open after that. I can't see him surviving this. Like, first of all, I'm not even down material. I'm an exchange up after that. Wait, what am I talking about? The bishop is blocking still. I gotta work on my visualization. So, knight f6. Rook takes, queen takes, knight takes, pawn takes, and his bishop is still in the way. So if you want to bring back the bishop like this, maybe he can go bishop e5 or something like that, threatening my queen. Yeah, that's probably what he'll play. Because then my queen can't really defend my bishop on d2. And it can't really stick around to create any threats. So I wanted to take on d2 and I can play rook d1 and infiltrate, but Where's my queen going? It needs to go back to g5 or h4. And from there is, I mean, it's still dangerous for him, but it's not that clear. So do I have anything else in this position? My scene goes knight f6, rook takes, queen takes, knight takes f3, g takes f3, bishop e5. There's no checks. This bishop is defended by the rook, pawn's defended. My queen has to go to, well, maybe my queen takes on a6 actually. Takes on d2, I can take on b5. Yeah, I still get a protected pass pawn here. So it should be worth it, that endgame. Alternative is to take. Bishop takes, but then my pieces are lined up. I'm not really sure how to continue that. There's knight takes, or bishop takes f4 as well. No, I think we should go for this. I think that endgame looks pretty good still. And my king side is still fairly safe with the pawn on f3. So if he takes, of course, I'll take with the queen. There's no Zugzwang by e5, or Zwischenzug Zug, I mean, in between move, as he takes back the bishop. And he protects his rook. He's going to take, I have to take back. So right now I'm +4. So he's going to take back the bishop on d2, but my rook is going to be able to swing into the game here. And I can take this pawn on a6. Maybe I got a better square from my queen actually after bishop e5. I think this is the only move to create some problems for me. Yeah. I think taking here is the best move. Queen g5, I mean, the queen is not really doing that much. The only thing is it's nice to control d8 when the rook can come in like this. But it's nice to take a pawn here and then take the next pawn as well with a threat on his rook. So yeah, this makes a lot of sense, I think. I don't really need to worry about anything on the king side, I don't think. It only gets scary when he gets both the rook and the queen into it. The pawn here actually blocks this bishop quite well for me. I think it's safe to just take this pawn and then take on the b5 as well. Do I want to play rook d1 first? I don't think I would. Yeah, I can just take the pawn, right? We're gonna be in a change up, a couple of pawns, threatening the rook. Still quite open for his queen. King side, I mean. And now maybe we just run with the a pawn, but it's probably good to bring the rook into d1. Okay, so maybe he's preparing g5, rook h6 stuff. But now he's leaving the back rank, which looks quite dangerous to me. I think rook d1 is just too strong here. Rook d1 and then rook d8. It's gonna spell some trouble for black, I think. Even if I lose this pawn, I don't really care. The rook is too active. I can consider bringing this rook in, but I think I'm gonna have some problems with f2 after bishop d4 at some point. Like rook d1, queen c2 maybe. I might want my rook on e1 as well, so I'll just go rook d1. Then we can come down here if we want. And I would like to pin this rook to the king as well. Let's see if he's going to take on b2 or not. If he does, I think the endgame should be fairly simple for me. Just pushing up my pawn here. And if the bishop moves, I can check, come back and collect this pawn as well. Yeah, also just rook e1 is actually quite good. Bring another piece to the game, and if he goes here, maybe I can just take the rook. So let's say queen c2, rook e1, bishop here. Problem is the queen can take on d1. So maybe I need to throw in rook d8 at some point. Yeah, this pin is gonna be annoying. But I can take the queen, but I can also play rook d8 and the queen can come in as well, which looks pretty strong. I probably want to play rook d8 anyway, so let's just make the practical move. I don't have any checks with the queen. Queen c4 is also quite strong, I feel. But then maybe queen b6, and perhaps he can hold it together. So let's go with rook d8. I can always choose to trade the queens later if I want. He probably has to come up to f7. Or after queen d7 he can play rook e7. But then I gotta check here as well. And maybe then my second rook will come in. And I think it's gonna be hard to defend everything here. I don't have that much material up anymore, and the bishop is potentially quite a strong defender, so I shouldn't be too naive and trade everything down into a simple endgame, because I don't think it's necessarily that simple. So I think I prefer to keep the queens on because his king is so exposed. I just have to watch out for the rook coming in to g6 or h6, something like that. Okay. So my queen is on 3. I do have rook d7 as well. This check is gotta be annoying. Rook back and check on d5 as well. If the rook comes up, then maybe I'll bring my second rook into the game. Yeah, I think this just has to be good. Oops, queen d7. Looks good. I think rook e7 is the only reasonable move here. He can't allow me checking from behind him. If king f6, he's gonna lose his rook. So rook e7 is what I expect, and I'll come up here to check next. Yeah, let's not waste any time on that. Everything's quite well defended. So how will I get the second rook into the game is the question. Okay. So if I want to, I can also check on g8 now. King h6, but the king might be fairly safe over there. Maybe rook e1 now is decent. Just tying up all his pieces basically. It's rook e1 because if he... Yeah, he can't play this obviously, I take his rook. I don't really need another rook on the d file here. So I think rook e1 is the move here. Okay, I can check with the queen as well here. Do I win the rook here? Wait, queen check. If king h6, I can check on f8. And then the rook drops, right? King g8, king h6. Oh wait. Queen check, king here, king f6, rook g7. But then his rook is just super passive on g7. And I can play rook d7 right away, for example. I can put pressure on the bishop then, which should be stronger. Alternative is king f6. Maybe queen f8, rook f7. And then what? Check king f6. Let's see, rook f8 instead. He'd have to come out here. Then maybe I'll move like king h1. Yeah, it looks really strong, right? King f6. Check. There might even be a better move. I think I'm gonna go for it. Maybe a little bit greedy, but it's quite hard for black to find a defense. I'm just gonna play a bit practical here. Now the option of rook d1 is a little bit more tempting as well. You can maybe place one rook here and the other rook can come into d7. So if king h6, we got check here. I think we're doing really well. Like rook g7, maybe rook d7. Okay, let's go for this. So I got this check as well. But after king e6, my queen's not doing that much. I think rook f8 is the move. So rook f8, he has to play king g5. I'm just gonna make sure my queen doesn't get stuck there. So king h1 maybe. If he just like takes a pawn or whatever, maybe bishop d4, rook g1, check. Yeah, my queen will be able to come back and join the fray over there. There's also h4 in this position. He's taking away the g5 square. So we're threatening mate in 1 essentially. Oh wait, he has to give up his rook, but still very good. So I think, yeah, h4 is quite tempting here. Let's cover his flight squares first. If he goes for something like rook f7, at the very least we can trade rooks. His rook is very passive. There's also this check here. Yeah, I kind of like h4. If he can't take because of this. Yeah, I'm gonna play h4. Hope I'm not getting my own king into unnecessary danger here. But I think the way the pawns are lined up, his pieces are gonna struggle to come back and defend here. So the threat here is rook f8. Cover this flight square here. So maybe he plays rook f7 to protect against that. I can check on h8. King f5 perhaps. Yeah, I need to get the rook in as well. Maybe rook e8 or rook d1, rook e1, rook d1, coming from the side. So what do I play on rook f7? Probably a much easier way of dealing with this. Rook e1 perhaps. Maybe I can use this diagonal as well at some point. Maybe some backward takes e5 ideas. I want to come around to this square as well, but then he can just block as well. So yeah, rook d1 or rook e1, just improve my position. So let's say rook f7, rook e1. He shouldn't be able to survive something like this, I don't think. And he can't really take here. Oh, king f5, okay. That's the other option. But now, so where does the queen go? The queen might want to come in this way as well. But rook f8. He has to block with the bishop. And now I can check here again if I want. Maybe it's time to play rook e1 first. Because if I do that, then my threat is stronger, I think. So rook f1 in that position. If bishop here, I can just take his rook. Give it a check first. Yeah, I can't really attack my rook in a good way. c3. Let's look at the most forcing move first. So, queen f1 as well. King e6. Yeah, I need my second rook to do much damage here. Rook f1, bishop f6. He now has this spy square as well. And I can't take it because queen takes f6. It's still fine. But after check here, maybe rook d5. Yeah, not really clear. I think I want to go with this. Rook d1 is safer. Let's have the same threat though. It does because, let's say check, bishop here, and rook 1 to d5. It's pretty strong. Yeah, it's a safe move to play as well. I don't have too much time, so I should be playing more safer moves. Yeah, let's go rook d1 instead. Just bring another piece into the game. Can't be bad. His king is out for a jog here. So rook f8. Bishop f6. Rook d5. So he blocks with the rook. Then maybe just rook takes. To see when I get there. Yeah, he has to take the queen. Oh, h5. Now the g6 pawn is weak as well. I mean, rook f8 must be good here. Is this winning something though? Bishop f6. Rook d5. What can you do? Rook d5. I think rook f8 is stronger. It just must be winning this one. It's the only move here. Bishop f6, rook d5. At the very least I'll get a rook trade. It's rook d5. Maybe we can give a check then. So rook takes, doesn't really do much here. There's queen here as well. There's a little trap here. If he goes back, there's... it's not quite mage. But g6 is blocking. I think rook d5 should be stronger though. It's safer to centralize my queen though, that's for sure. But yeah, he has to give up his rook. Rook here takes, queen takes. Queen check. Rook blocks. I think I'm gonna have to play the safer move. And I want to keep pieces on the board. now he does have the option of bringing his queen back. But I should still win this endgame. Okay, it doesn't. So now we can check here. This is what I have planned, and then pin the rook. Ah wait, if I check here first, king comes back and then his mate on d7, right? Yeah. Just go for the check. You can't really block anything. Should okay. That's the game. Good game. Alright, yeah, happy about that one. Maybe I'll do a quick analysis. I'm sure I had lots of ways to finish this earlier. Okay, someone's already done the computer evaluation. Let me change the settings as well, so you're able to chat. Let's see if this works. Cool. There's also the Lichess chat, of course. Yeah, let's have a look. It seems like a... Ooh, he did have something here. Okay, now I'm too curious. But let's review the opening first. Lower the music a little bit. So he played this gambit, which I'm curious to know what it's called. It's called the Marshall Defense. Okay. Right. Bishop b4. Yeah, okay, so a few games that have been played is bishop takes d2 here. Now we are the book, and white is already has an overwhelming advantage, +2. So I didn't jump into the analysis. I'm just gonna make sure, so I'm not being rude here. See if he said anything here. Nope, I guess he's gone. Right, best of luck in the future games if you watch this on the replay. So yeah, his knight gets a bit stuck here, but more importantly, these pieces are not well placed here at all. But after e5, e4, I missed something here. Black has a move that I haven't seen. So before I look at the engine, let's see if we can figure this out. So e4 was a mistake here. So not only can he escape not losing a piece, but black must be able to win some kind of material here, I think. So let's see if we can find a move and spend a minute or so on this. It might be bishop g4 that I was looking at the game. But the threat is to eliminate this defender and then take on d4 with tempo. So let's say we play e5 here. I suppose I can take a look like this. The idea here was to take like this. Maybe I take one way or another, but let's say I take back, then if the knight takes. I'm not really sure what the evaluation is here, because he can take back and defend his knight. I don't see any other real options than bishop g4 here, but there is something here for black that saves the game, or even brings it to a black advantage. Does knight take work? Knight takes, I think there's nothing there. See if we have any suggestions in the chat. No. Okay, let's see what it was. So e4 and then g6 was a blunder. So bishop h3. Ooh, interesting. Bishop h3. Okay, so let's say I play e5. Then queen g4 threatening mates. Alright, so I would maybe play knight e1 or something. But now we take on d4. Okay, so we create that mating threats first. And if I take the pawn on h3, then queen takes, and he has some more threats here. So let's say we're trying to be greedy here. Just queen g4 and pick this knight up here. So engine suggests bishop e2 here, but still queen g4, and it's kind of dangerous. Like I have to give up the exchange here. And the pawn in the center. So yeah, black is doing really well here actually. But yeah, bishop h3, not an easy move to see, I think. But certainly something I should look out for. Yeah, that was a really cool tactic that black has. He also has bishop g4 that I looked at in the game. Which, yeah, the valuation is less drawish here. Equal, I should say. Yeah, just... This is not really a threat, because black gets so much compensation. Yeah, the rook comes in here, and the king is looking a bit shaky. So yeah, I have to be careful here. Yeah, bishop h3 would have been good. Bishop h3. Yeah, bit of future move. Yeah, after that, let's see if I had any quicker mates. Advantages. This trade was fine, even though I lost the bishop on d2. Yeah, it looks like I played it right with taking on a6. Check. h4, it likes that as well, so I guess I converted this reasonably well. Rook e1 is perhaps stronger, but rook d1 should be fine as well. It's mate in 8. Okay, cool. Alright, I think I'm gonna go and have some dinner. Thanks for watching, and yeah, as always, please go subscribe if you want to follow my latest streams. I'm gonna play in the weekend as well. Any likes and stuff and comments, what you would like to see, I appreciate those.